I've heard all these lovely tales, but I'm wondering, which one of you is the best storyteller? This here is my favorite vodka, and I have no idea how it got started. So I propose a challenge. Each one of you ladies tells me a story about how this vodka was created. At the end, I'll pick a winner, and I will pay that winner $500. Who's game?
I'm game.
Well, if we are on the subject of vodka, I have a really good toast that comes to mind, said by no other than Boris Yeltsin, the ex-Russian president who was visiting here a few years back, and I was at the reception. So here we are. There was the mayor and the governor and politicians and business people mingling around, and I think I saw Tavi Foster chatting up people.
From Alaska Distillery?
Uh-huh. And I was talking to Boris in Russian, of course, and he was telling me how Alaska reminds him of Russia, and he goes, "Oh, those birches, the painfully familiar birches. I feel so comfortable here, Rada." Then came the time for commemorative toast, and we all got a shot of vodka, traditionally, naturally. And Boris goes, "The famous Russian export is vodka. And great Alaskan export is seafood, and it's delicious smoked salmon. So let's raise a glass to these two great exports going so well together." And we toasted to vodka and smoked salmon. I guess somebody was listening.
Apparently. No. This is not how I heard it at all. Complete fabrication. The way I heard it was there's these four guys on what they call a sled that's going down the river on the Little Sitsu River or whatever. And they're going a little too fast and they're all quite snockered, if you know what I mean, because you know the distillery is in Wasilla, right? They're salmon fishing. So this guy named Toby, who's sitting on the end of the boat, gets flipped off the end of the boat. He gets in these rapid waters and he hits his head on a rock. But his story is that he thinks that he encountered a mermaid. He comes out of the water and he's like, "Oh my God, there was this wonderful red-headed mermaid with a green dress on," i.e. the salmon. And he's like, "She told me salmon vodka, salmon vodka, salmon vodka." And he made salmon flavored vodka.
I don't know if that's the truth. I don't know about that story.
That was a pretty good story, but I'm going to have to school the historian on this one. It all started in the 1890s. Alaska was just a territory, and to sell liquor, you had to have a liquor license. It was $1,000 in a time where 1,000 was a million. Prohibition started in 1820. Alaska passed the dry bone law, which started actually in 1918, 2 whole years before the nation was going to go dry. And I tell you, that's 2 years too long for some people. Needless to say, distilleries grew, saloons shut down, and people were making their own vodka. The only way to get this vodka from the valley to Anchorage with a cannery, and they had started filling it with smoked salmon and topping it off with their own vodka. And that's how we got vodka into town. Cheers to mason jars.
Cheers to vodka.
So I can tell the story because I actually know the real story of how it happened. And I met Judge Keene this summer. Judge Keene's 109 years old, and he was the first territorial judge in Alaska. Well, Judge Keene was telling me about how he was sitting in his little cat house, Dolly's. Well, you guys have been to Ketchikan before, right? It's called Creek Street, and what they did is they took a salmon stream and they built a boardwalk on top of it, and that's where they put all the cat houses. And the judge likes to say that that's where both the salmon and the fishermen go to spawn. So apparently Wyatt Earp got played out in the gold fields of Nome, and he had to get a job again, so he became the territorial marshal of Southeast Alaska. It's like 1,000 miles of territory. You take a boat to every single town. And when he ended up in Ketchikan, the first place he stopped, of course, was the cat houses off of Creek Street. Well, Keene is sitting there with his drink in his hand when the marshal comes in the door with his, guns and badge blazing. Keene's no fool. He looks at Wyatt Earp and he goes, "I'm making a ruling. So long as the vodka has salmon in it, and it's in a glass full of vegetables, it's not a drink, it's a meal." And Judge Keene and Wyatt Earp had dinner together for the rest of Prohibition.
Okay, so 4 stories, 4 lovely ladies, 4 lovely stories, each one having some truth to it. Possibly the 2 came together, the smoked salmon, the vodka. But one stood out, and there's a clear winner, and that winner